Hey guys, welcome back to Minecraft. Believe it or not, I'm still following the Minecraft updates and I just didn't play it for a very long time. Just today I decided, well, I really want to check out the new world height and cave generation and stuff. And so here I am and checking out the new snapshot. And I wanted to give you my opinion about this. So I flying through a gigantic cave right now, and as you can see in the latest version, which was released a few hours ago, these really large caves do generate again. However, I actually had to look for this for a bit, even though I was using spectator mode. So it's not like these super huge caves are generating everywhere, maybe one every 1000 or 2000 blocks. So you will have to find them first. And what I really like about this is that there's so much variety in these caves. So usually the caves actually do still have a lava level, which is at, let me check, around minus Y54. But some of these larger caves do actually not apply to that limit, so that they can generate even lower without being filled up with lava. And obviously you have all kinds of varieties, half-filled caves, half-filled in with water, and some were completely filled. I personally think that the cave density is still a bit high. I know that, like, for casual players, obviously this is cool that they can easily find caves, but I think that there should be even less caves that are at lower levels. However, I do not have fully tested it, like how it feels like when playing this in survival, because as you can see, there are sometimes also these quite large areas where there are non-caves. So maybe to give more more evaluated opinion, I would have to test it more. The change textures here actually are really awesome. They change it so that the top texture now looks less bricky, and now it does really look like slates. Obviously, if you do not use night vision, this looks a lot better. I'm not turning it off for now because you won't see stuff in the video. And that's pretty darn great. Also, like, since last time when I've played the game, there were like 100 less blocks in the game. So I really have to try it all myself by now. It's just awesome. Also, I just noticed I found a cave which goes down to bedrock. I believe they fixed it so that they don't go further down and have bedrock sticking out of the floor, but rather this is the lowest level at which the caves can generate. I also am not sure if these lava spots here are something new or if they have been added in a few earlier versions. Definitely the whole cave floor here is below the typical lava level, which as I mentioned was at minus 54. So even though it's below that and excluded from it, it still generates these lava pots. Well, and I think those traits actually look quite nice. Speaking about opinions, I think the ore distribution could also be changed to something drastically different, which also would add more strategy to mining, in my opinion. So while these single ore spots, which contain a few ores, should remain as they are in higher levels, maybe in the stone layer levels, further down here in the deep slate, I imagine that there are veins instead of ores. And what does it mean? So a vein is basically a large area with a high ore content that looks basically like a cave that is, instead of filled with air, with stone and a bit of ore. So for example, 2% or 5% gold ore distribution. And I'm just maybe flying through here a little bit. I think you can imagine what I'm thinking of. You just find a normal generating cave like this one, for example, and you suddenly stumble across a few gold ores, and you can continue digging and see maybe if the vein stretches out ever so often, and how far does it go. Obviously, this gives a lot of resources. So to balance this out, these kind of veins should be really rare, and so it should be a really cool reward for long-term exploring. So you really can set up a mine which actually mines a vein there. It's more like real life, basically. But yeah, you will have to find those spots in the deep down caves first, and yeah, it's more of an exploratory reward, and it's not just the constant, oh well, there's another 2 redstone ore, but more like we explore for a few hours, and suddenly you find a vein, and you will set up an actual infrastructure there to mine this and come back to it later when you need more, because it actually will take a lot of time to mine the whole vein, since it's not completely out of gold, or it's just like 5% of it. So I think this might be a very interesting idea, and let me know how you think about it. Probably one should test it out by just manually or with some commands, filling up some case with ores like this, and try how it feels like. But I think it could be a really interesting concept. So at last, a little statement about the ore distribution in the mountains. So obviously it's a great idea that they are adapting the ore distribution, and so you can find rare ores in mountains quite frequently. But they obviously have to adapt the mountain generation first, both to New Worldhead and in general. I think many of you might have seen those posts on the Minecraft Reddit where people have been generating realistic mountain terrain. I think at least for the extreme hills, it should be a little bit more realistic, less like randomly floating stuff and extreme overhangs. It would actually add a lot, and then also just like bigger. The normal mountains do generate a lot lower at the moment than the Shattered Savannah, for example, and so you will basically very rarely ever experience a mountain that is significantly above 128 blocks, and so you like in the current snapshots they have a high emerald ore distribution in really tall mountains, but they simply don't exist. So the only place where you can, for example, find high ore contents are in the Shattered Savannah Plateau biomes, and they will also be super rare. Like one like this, I removed the stone, by the way, and only left a little bit of dirt and other blocks. Which goes to 170 blocks. Is like there's one every 10,000 blocks or so. So they are really rare, especially the ones that actually do go up quite significantly high if you're not playing Amplified. And so I think only few people will ever really experience the, wow, there's a tall mountain, maybe there's something in there, and then yes, there's tons of emerald ore. They definitely need to increase the normal heights of normal mountains, and also just like don't make him just spikier, but just more volume and still have decent slopes. Not, I think you basically never see mountains which go up high but have decent slopes and a bit natural looking terrain. I think the Shattered Savannah can stay as it is. It's a very cool and special biome, but at least for the normal mountains they should be a bit softer, but at the same time obviously taller, so that you actually can find those really tall mountains. At least if when they are rare, it's okay. They don't have to be common, but they should exist and be also a huge reward. And then I think in general the ore distribution could, instead of just being at fixed heights, more depend on the actual surface terrain height. So a bit of the new generation goes a bit in this direction with finding special ores in tall mountains. However, if you simply made the ore distribution not only dependent on the absolute Y level, but rather like more dependent on the distance to the surface, it could also, for example, raise the diamond level in tall mountains, which would also maybe be a very interesting experience. I mean, in real world generation, mountains usually come into existence by earth plates moving to next to each other and actually shifting towards each other, and the pressure lifting the stone up. So it actually makes sense that there is surface diamonds in tall mountains. So let me know in the comments what you think, and thanks for watching this little video here. And maybe I will do some more Minecraft videos in the future. We'll see. Have a good day.